Who are some of your great ones? I guess it depends what kind of part of life you really absolutely love. When I was growing up, I used to play loads of rugby, and for my generation, it was Will Carling, it was Jerry Guscott, it was the Underwood brothers. Some of you won't have a clue who I'm talking about. Others, it will bring back some great memories. Who are the great ones for you? People that you really celebrate, that have a big place in your heart or your mind? Well, in Jesus' day, for the Jewish community that he was part of, one of the great ones for them was a man called Elisha. And what Jesus does in Luke chapter 7, 11 to 17, is intentionally mimic something Elisha did around a mother and her dead daughter, except he exceeds it. He blows it out the water. I actually want to read both stories to you so you can see the parallel of what's going on. The first one is from 2 Kings chapter 4, sentence 32 to 37. This is what it says. When Elisha reached the house, there was the boy lying dead on his couch. He went in, shut the door on the two of them, and prayed to God. Then he got on the bed and laid on the boy, mouth to mouth and eyes to eyes and hands to hands. As he stretched himself out on him, the boy's body grew warm. Elisha turned away and walked back and forth in the room, and then got onto the bed and stretched out on him once more. The boy sneezed 7 times and opened his eyes. It's an incredible story, isn't it, of a boy brought back to life through all sorts of miraculous CPR, some random striding back and forth across the room, laying on top of the boy, not just mouth to mouth, but eye to eye, face to face. And then the boy comes back to life, sneezing 7 times exactly. Now look how Jesus mimics it. In Luke chapter 7, 11 to 15. This is what it says. Soon after, Jesus went to a town called Nain, and his disciples and a large crowd went along with him. As he approached the town gate, a dead person was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and a large crowd from the town was with her. When the Lord saw her, his heart went out to her, and he cried, and he said, "Don't cry." Then he went up and touched the coffin, and they were carrying him on, and the bearers stood still. He said, "Young man, I say to you, get up." The dead man sat up and began to talk, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. See, there's enough similarities between the two stories to realize that Jesus is mimicking this Elijah great one. It's a mother who's lost her son, and Jesus or Elisha bring that son back to life. But did you notice some of the differences? Elisha had to go and be found and be dragged to save the boy, where Jesus goes himself and finds the boy. Elisha's boy was pre-burial, still in a room, and he's actually on the way to the crematorium. He's well and truly dead and almost buried. Elisha had to do all those strange and weird acts, performing that miraculous CPR. Jesus just speaks. He just speaks, and the boy comes back to life. And so it's no surprise, because all those who were around Jesus at that time would have known the Elisha story, that it says in sentence 16 that they were all filled with awe and they praised God. "A great prophet has appeared among us," they said. "God has come to help his people." They're referring to Elisha. He was known as the one who came to help God's people, the great prophet who would do that. And they're saying Jesus is even greater than Elisha. He's the great prophet, and he's appeared amongst us. They're blown away by who Jesus is, more than by what he's actually done. The bringing the boy back to life was just signposting to the identity of Jesus. I want to encourage you to see Jesus as not simply another great one, along the lines of all the other great ones that we might list or name, but to realize he is a unique one. There's no one like him. We can't suggest that he's the latest in a long line of really exceptional individuals. We need to realize he stands alone. He has no peer or equivalent or competitor or rival. We couldn't call him Alexander the Great or Napoleon the Great or Barack Obama the Great and Jesus the Great as if they're somehow comparable. He is Jesus the only. And did you notice their response? It's twofold. It goes in 2 directions. Firstly, upward. Sentence 16, they're filled with they're filled with awe and they praise God. And secondly, outward. Sentence 17, it says this good news about Jesus spread throughout the surrounding countryside. If you know Jesus and realized who he is, that's the direction we need to respond in as well. Upward in praise and outward in witness.